All right. I just overdosed on mushrooms, and I just underestimated the power of mushrooms. I legit did that today. I legit underestimated the power of psilocybin, or how you say it. And this trip that I just had put me in direct communication with like the Grays, like well, not all of them, of course, but the ones that are part of the Intergalactic Federation. Like it just everything like me like ODing on mushrooms opened me up to the higher dimensions, man. And let me make sure I'm talking to y'all on this thing, okay? In the higher dimensions, I was just being taught that there's no enemies. There's no, you know, enemies. Like there are reptilians. And all this is going to sound really crazy, but there are reptilians. There are grays. There are entities that typically get thrown into the categories of what we would call evil, right? The ones that are causing some of the issues in the world, right? At one point, they were. Um, at one point, and I'm crazy. Like this is weird on video because you can't really see me. But I'm just coming out of this, and I just wanted to just talk about it like immediately with somebody in with face because I was in contact with some entities, and then I got taught lessons about my with myself. So I just OD'd on. I would say I say OD for myself. I think about I just took more than I should have. I took more mushrooms than I should have, and here I am video recording after this experience. Um, but I needed to, like, and I guess all right. So me communicating with the grays and the beings, they show me that there's no enemies. Enemies are, people that even just teaching this uh, to humans, teaching this to people is that in the higher dimension you don't have to have enemies. Like there's no such thing as enemies and things that are against you, or and that's what I had to learn. No one's against me. You know what I mean? Like I think I am. Like I think sometimes, because it feels that way. I guess in that particular, delusion of self is that you are having an experience where you have enemies. Now, they're enemies against the collective, and that does exist. But you don't personally have enemies. That's what I had to learn. I don't personally have enemies. In this higher dimension, I learned that I don't have them, and also I've been killing ants and a lot in my home because here in Mexico, um, when you live with fruit and not just fruit, there's actually other things, other food that you don't refrigerate because you don't try to live without a refrigerator. I'm trying to live without a refrigerator. They keep coming inside, and I have to keep killing them. So in this trip, I learned from the spirits of the ants that I've been killing that we are all one. Like even the ants, like it just keep bringing me back to not killing things, simply because I should not be. And that's what it taught me. And like, I guess psychedelics and these things help you realize that the same feeling I had when I'm off a Bufo trip. Now, of course, me ODing on mushrooms, um, I can't say it's equivalent to the Bufo trip, an equivalency of potency of power, but I am in communication. When I'm realizing that I am an antenna for, other beings, and they want to communicate, and me being in this state of consciousness allows me to communicate with all, with those that normally don't get a voice, like those particular grays, those ants, the reptilians, the certain creatures that just don't get a chance to, speak. And at this moment, I got a chance to really this trip put me in touch with so many different entities, and it's all really just peace, and that's what we have to get. And this is the lesson that there are no enemies. That to stop killing stuff. You don't need to kill it. Some animals will not sacrifice their lives willingly for the human enjoyment. So people need to stop killing things. The raised in states level, new levels of consciousness is no more killing things. So this is my experience ODing on a mushroom. I'm just learning about reality from this perspective of psilocybin. I'm learning that I have no, I would say, like healing to do. More so. It's more now. It's communication and teaching, understanding from which also heals people, right? But I'm learning that me under psychedelics it allows me to go into a heightened state of connecting with nature, connecting with entities that I normally wouldn't connect to when I'm in a conscious state, or in a state of or I guess I would say a normal state every day. And all this, even what I'm doing now, is I'm learning how to be under the influence of powerful psychedelics and still communicate and still function as if I'm not, but I am. So I'm. This is what fifth dimension is all about. It's being connected to, literally being connected to the all, simultaneously. So you're like, yes, you see my fifth, my third dimensional state here, talking to you. But at the present moment, I am also in other worlds, and I'm also doing things and living completely different realities at the same time. So let me get up now. I think the trip is kind of like it's entering a new state. So the trip is actually entered a new state. So now let me try to figure this out. As I try to shift and figure out how to be in a new state of consciousness and interacting with third dimension. while I'm in another higher dimensional state. All right, so here we go. All right, so I said I took I took about 4 of these mushrooms, right? And I'm in contact. Tell me less about me. No enemies. Don't need to kill stuff all the time. You know? And that's what I'm learning that's happening. As as I continue to explore psychedelics, right now it's important that that's why I started all this. It's a journey of self-discovery, ascension, healing, all these different things, right? And yes, it does feel as though I am like inebriated, but I'm also very conscious, super conscious actually right now, at a higher level of conscious. But it feels like drunkenness. Oops, I just turned it off. Just like took it at the wall. So, all right, here we go. Now we're gonna figure this out, y'all. Okay. Actually, this is not working like the way I wanted to, but I'm gonna figure this out still. Oh, okay. So it's actually learning how to just to do normal stuff under this state. So I have no one. I'm at home alone. I have no one here, right? So literally, I don't mind you going on this path and this journey with me. So I turned some light on. I definitely had to turn some light on. As a matter of fact, let me turn my hat. I'm out here, Black Baby Jesus. But man, I gotta pee. I just tripped for probably about a couple hours, man. I OD'd on mushrooms. At least OD for me. And now I'm just coming back into from the trip. And here I am. So everything's on video. I just want to record all this. I'm peeing right now, but literally I was taught so much. I took it's called Golden Teacher mushrooms. And it taught me a lot, man. That's why I'm here talking about it. I don't care no more. As you can see, I'm free from the constructs of the ego, and I'm free from caring what people think. Because I'm here just to help the collective. I'm here to enlighten and to share wisdom, knowledge, understanding with the world. This is my job, my function, I should say. And my psychedelic experiences are for the world to see and learn from. Earth medicines and plant medicine, they're powerful teachers. I'm learning that you don't have to be taught things from people, if that makes sense. You can learn through plants. There are things in the earth that can teach you things. You don't even need to read books. The only thing you need to know is language. Like, you have to have a language that you speak, that you know, of course, and you have to know languages. When I be my language, that also means subjects. Like, I had to learn physics to understand the source light, the creator more. I had to learn physics. I never really explored physics. So, saying all to say, being under psilocybin, being under mushrooms, where I'm right now, the golden teachers, is I'm learning that it can teach you.
That's why it's called the Golden Teacher. It actually taught me that I have no enemies. That also I don't need to save people. Something I had to really understand. I don't have to save coming out of the Christian programming. You feel like you have to save people, but people really just need to save themselves. And I keep saying this is like my major motif is that people really have to just start saving themselves. Like the stuff is there available on the earth for people to pick up and start, healing with it and saving themselves and learning about reality, letting it teach you, you know, letting the earth medicines and letting the plant medicines, letting all these things that are already in the earth, like I took bufo, like I'm doing right now in this heavy, the heavy influence of mushrooms. Um, you don't need this. You don't need this, to learn from anything else other than what it can teach you. Like it can teach you what it is you need to know. This whole idea of oh, I gotta get all this knowledge. I'm letting that go, man. You don't need to getting all this knowledge. You need knowledge of self. The most important thing is to have knowledge of self. So I want y'all to have knowledge of self. It's the most important thing. Put the books down. Everyone's always trying to learn outside themselves. Put the books down. You can learn through plants. They can teach you all things. You know, you eat the plant, the certain plant medicine that would then teach you. Like right now, I just ate 4 mushrooms called, which is like overdosed. I should have just ate like 2, maybe 2 would have been good. But still, I'm in a state of consciousness now where like, look, I gotta get up and I gotta talk, I gotta express myself because this has to be known. What plants will teach you, and this is the biggest lesson I learned today, is that you don't need to read no more books. Mind blown. You don't need it. People that were living in the Amazon, that's been living here on this side of the planet, they had the earth medicines that taught them their own journey. Like okay, look, everyone's on their own journey. Everyone's on their own journey of self, their own journey of higher development, higher self, getting to that certain levels. Everyone is on their own journey, and the golden teachers just taught me a lot. And it's not through books. There's no books around me right now. Not reading any books. I mean, I always have my Bible. That's something I read time to time. But I'm not getting this from a book. This is coming out of me, and it's coming out of me from taking substances called, mushrooms or DMT substances. Anything that can help you enhance and expand your consciousness. And so the golden teacher taught me that my lessons is that, like I just shared with you, that I have no enemies. Like I need to stop with this stuff. Like we're enemies now. There are enemies against the collective, like I said, and we are fighting against that. But but at the same time, we're gonna send in a certain place. We're gonna send to where you don't need to fight anymore. You're gonna send. So the fight is within you first. It's always within you before it's outside. So if everyone deals with the inner fight, we win. If everyone says, you know what, I'm gonna deal with my own stuff and just take the plants and the medicines and just heal and just grow and be more one with all, and seek oneness and seek unity, if everyone starts that journey and just like, yo, let me just unify with people. Like, let me see what it's like to unify with other human beings. Let me see what it's like to like talk to someone I never talked to before. Like what? How hard is that to go up to somebody I never spoken with before and just go, hey, let me talk to you real quick. You know, let me talk to you real quick. So you know, and that's what we need is, you know, like to connect and to grow and to learn more is to seek unity, to seek it, and that's what I've been doing before. But the golden teacher mushroom strain was just kind of showing me that I'm on the right path. To continue reaching out to people, continue to, you know, say, hey, how you doing? Getting to know people, spending time with people, because we all need to spend time with each other. And that's what that's the lesson I've been learning. And like I said, this whole message, this whole thing, I turned this on. I'm coming back to earth. Coming out of it, because I don't remember how long I've been high off these mushrooms. I don't even remember how long it is, but all I know is that I'm reaching a new state of consciousness, continual new states of consciousness, and I'm being taught lessons from the actual plants themselves, as opposed to me reading books, learning from people. And I think that's what we need to get to. Let people just take things and then be like, hey, there's no more, you know, there's no more ego, no more like, you know, debating with people about things, you know, just let the plants teach you, let the fungus teach you, let the venom from the toad teach you. Let these things teach you instead of the books, instead of the gurus, instead of the sages and all the. So I'm just here as an example for you, you know, and that's what we need to get to. I'm not here to be your, you know, be your leader. I'm here to show you that you could just take some stuff, and then you can then know for yourself reality, and it can be redefined and rewritten for yourself as opposed to being told from the outside. And I think we're always so used to like getting information from the outside that when we're also triggered by other people too when we hear something that we don't like that other people are saying, because we're so used to being taught from the outside. So when someone's saying something from the outside, we either defend or in a state of like fighting against it. You know, we don't need to fight against everything we hear. We don't need to fight against it. We just need to understand it. That's all. It's just simple understanding, and then you make decisions based on your own intuition. So saying that to say, you know, there's a variety of different viewpoints, and it's like that for a reason. You know, because it's all that teaches a lesson. That what we believe will always be challenged by someone else around us. There's no truth. And that's what we got to get. Like the everything's a truth and everything's a lie. It just depends on where you're standing. Like it depends on where you are. Everything's true and everything's a lie. Everything's real, everything's not real. It's up to you. And that's what it is. And once you get that, your mind opens up. So we get taught from each other. The reason why all of these different things exist, right? The reason why there's so many different viewpoints. There's so many different like ideas out there. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different. When you start explaining your consciousness to a point where, oh my God, there are so many different competing ideas and visions of the future, visions of even how people perceive the present, people perceive the past. It's all one colorful work of art. That's it. Everything is just one big, colorful work of art. So I just came out of a getting high off some mushrooms. I'm here to tell you, as Kwame Selassie, the Black Baby Jesus, explained to you that nothing, everything, the individual ideas that we have, all together make up the grand universe. Or all of our universes make up the universe. So yes, what anyone says from their perspective is the truth, or it's a lie. So I don't know if you can get that. You got to be in a higher state of consciousness to get that. But everything is true and everything is not true. Meaning that there's no number one truth. There's always just this amalgamation. There's an amalgamation of just things that people come on people's heads. And that is okay. The problem is when we take, and that's what I was trying to explain, is that usually we get so caught up on this like thing where we've been programmed. So we have programming. What should I say? We have programming rebellion in our spirit now. Like when we hear people say things, that we fight it because it's like, oh, I gotta like, because now we're starting to understand we don't need to be taught from the outside. We be taught from the inside. But even there, you don't need to fight anything. You just need to say, you know what? You need to understand that this is a vast, big old universe, right? And there's so many different ideas, and nothing is, you cannot pinpoint one truth. You cannot pinpoint that one truth is the all truth. Not yet, at least. We're all going to get there once we figure everything out, and then the all will be the truth. Once we come to the understanding that I'm you, you are me, all this is a collective universe. Multidimensional, interacting at one point. There's people from different dimensions interacting with each other right now, and they're seeing different futures. Even right. It's really like, okay, and I keep on talking about this. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, you're gonna get it. When you watch that movie, you're gonna get what I'm talking about. There's so many different views out there. There's so many different things out there we just have not opened our minds up to yet. And once we do, we start to realize that the entire universe, galaxy, Earth, all this stuff is connected. And once we all figure out we're all one, we're gonna get out of here. It's gonna end. We're gonna have one collective conscious. It's gonna be one mind, right? And then once we get this one mind, once we get this one state of consciousness, everything changes. So we're no longer being told from the outside what reality is. People are now been redefining it and speaking from the inside. And so there's no more predominant force teaching everybody what reality is, like the system beast, what we call Babylon did, the mystery Babylon. It tried to teach everyone one reality, like, oh, this is it. Across all realities, it tried to like create a synchronicity or one mind, but it's a false one, right? And we're fighting against that now. We're fighting against that now. We're fighting against this entity that's trying to create reality for all of us. And if we let that happen, then yes, it tells everyone what reality is, and it tells us all how to think. And that's not the way. It's to allow different forms of thought within one body. Just like what the church taught us, the body of Christ. The hand is not gonna like, the right hand is not gonna punch the head. You're not going to hurt yourself, basically. So once we understand that we're all each other, which is different parts of the body, experiencing different parts of the universe, then we're going to get it. Oh, yeah, yeah, okay. So right now, you are in the ass of the universe right now. That's kind of funny, but right now you are dealing with, from your perspective, you are in the anus of the universe. And some people might be on, they might be tasting the sweetness of the universe. They might be the tongue. They might be tasting something sweet. So we're all in different parts of the universe, which is the body, right? The body, and like I said, it's not coming from books like this. This is coming from me. The idea, the concept of the body of Christ came from the Bible, right? But just understanding that we are all one is just an example. We're one, and once we start to get it, that you're having different experience on different parts of the body, then you say, okay, yeah, from my perspective, this is what I'm dealing with, and you can tell someone. They should react, try to correct you and say, oh, no, you're not really experiencing that. They should take a moment and say, you know what? No, you're experiencing something that I'm not, because I'm just in a different part of another dimension, I guess to say. Living another dimension. But that doesn't mean I can't partake in your dimension through the vehicle of empathy. And that's what we miss sometimes. So we can go help, not just help. You don't need to help people. Like I said, you don't need to save anyone. You don't need to help anybody. What you need to do is just, and I'm not telling you what you need to do, just saying you need to take medicine. That's it. And everything teaches you. So no one needs to teach from the outside. Everything's on the inside. So basically, I'm sharing my experience. And what I was just talking about was everyone experiencing something different from different parts of the body or different parts of the universe. Is all one. Yet, the idea is for the individual minds to make a one mind. So the individual minds have to communicate with each other, say, hey, I'm at the foot right now, and it's painful down here. You might be enjoying life with at the shoulder, but I'm on the foot, and right now we stepped on some painful, we stepped on a painful glass. We got a cut, we're bleeding, right? So you got to communicate that to the mind, and the mind communicates that to the people, to the other parts of the body. So you see it. So that's the universe. So the body is the microcosm of the universe. So saying all to say, these medicines teach you these things. So, I just as you've seen, I just shifted from different realities myself. But I'm coming out of this high, coming out of this with some deep messages here. I'm learning so much about myself, learning so much about reality. Everything's being recorded here because I have to do this. So I'm going to have to take more medicines. Like I'm going to continue to do these mushrooms, golden teachers, and I'm going to come on and I'm going to talk because people are afraid to do these things, and maybe if someone can do it on camera and then show them, maybe they'll be inspired to do it themselves. So like I said, I just had a whole tripped out experience. I'm about to end this video so I can just let you kind of think about it more. But just really get in contact with beings and things that I normally kind of stayed away from consciously because I had with like greys and reptilians, for example. It goes on to white people and other people that look different than me, right? that are not a part of my everyday reality or might look at as perceived as an enemy, but no one's my enemy. There's enemies of the collective, and that's the only reason you should fight is when there's somebody or something trying to take over the collective minds and enslave the collective minds against their wills. That's something that's different. So that's out there. But I'm learning that not everyone has that mind. So there are grays, there are reptilians, there are actually people, you know, when you start to, you know, when you start to really go out, you know, start to learn more, expand your consciousness about the beings out there in the Intergalactic Federation, that some have the faces of lions, some have the faces of, you know, their bodies, right? They have human bodies, but a lot of them have the faces of animals. And it's kind of like interesting. Like you might find some beings that have faces of falcons. You know, you see that all throughout. You know, don't look at it like crazy. You gotta study Egypt. Study Egypt. Study Sumer. Study these things. You're gonna figure it out. All of it's the Intergalactic Federation. The Eternals, right? You watch that movie. There's, you know, so there was a group of beings that created everything. High vibrational beings that created all this. And I'm starting to see that they are the bastards of the game. And they're tell you guys that you just take these medicine and everyone unites and we all win the game. So some have the face of animals, some have the faces, you know, like the grays, like some are short. Look, some beings look exactly the same. Like there's no like different. You can't. That there are races of entities of beings that, like ants. There's no. You can't distinguish one from the other, and that's kind of the higher levels of ascension, is when you get to the place where you don't have any personal identity at all. The identity is a collective identity. So I was being taught by these different beings about reality, or not just, you know, just about everything. And yeah, there's no enemies. We could all really be friends if we wanted to. We could all love each other and stop all this madness if we wanted to. We just got to get rid of the fear and the ignorance and all the different things that keep, you know, us from uniting. Once we move all that, everything changed. We have one collective mindset of love and unity and peace, and then that is it. And once we understand these principles, so that's what the golden teacher taught me today. Like I was literally on the ground, was like the whole trip. Now I started playing the trip. I was crying, you know, wiggling around, convulsing, you know, all by myself, just like, you know, like of course I was afraid. I guess I wanted to say no. You know, I'm not gonna say I was afraid. It was just startling to see these faces of these beings, a little different than what I expected. I expected some kind of, you know, trippy little experience. I guess when you have expectation, that's what another thing I have to get rid of is all expectations. Like, don't have no expectation of anything, just let it ride. So I wasn't afraid when I saw, but it was more like a surprise, I guess, right? To see alien grays and different things pop up in this trip. I'm like, what the heck, you know? Like, yo, and the reptilians and people with lion faces and all these different things, and they all, you know, had bodies, and I'm learning from them, and they're communicating with me, telling me that, hey, you know, there are so many different species and races out there and everyone's kind of coming to understanding that we're all the same. I'm you, you and me. Every being is the same in the universe. Ants, everything from the ants to the highest ascended aeons are all one, and we're all getting there, and we're gonna win. We're gonna win this. We're gonna win, and we're gonna beat it. We just gotta get people off fear. We gotta get people off being really off fear and ignorance, and just get into bravery. So yeah, had a tripped out experience. Really tripped out experience. Learning that psychedelics for me is for communication. Every down from weed, any psychoactive substance for me now, I'm learning, puts me in direct communication with ancestral spirits, with entities, cosmic entities. Now more so than ever since the Bufo. Before Bufo it was always mostly ancestral. So I was getting taught a lot of things by ancestral spirits, getting high off weed, smoking weed. That's why I talk about weed and meditation and connecting with your ancestors. I'm gonna get into that a little later. But the cosmic situation happened after I took Bufo, and it like went to a whole nother level of understanding. So now with the golden teachers, I'm like, yo, this whole experience I just had was actually almost equivalent except I didn't really go to space. I seen things, but I didn't really like it. The whole, you know, traveling experience didn't go. But I would say this: I was taught a lot just now. I was crying. I was rolling on the ground. I was literally fell over, slumped. You know, I fell over, just slumped over, and like I fell over, just totally slumped over, right? And then the ground like starts, like I feel everything start to shift, like everything starts to move, like it didn't feel dizzy. It's more like I felt like everything like shifted. So it was like a whole bunch of experience I was just having, and I must say like I had 4 golden teacher mushrooms, and this whole thing just happened. This whole video recording where I was laying in the dark. That was like coming out of it from the beginning. Like this is a 40-minute video so far, but from the beginning, it was basically laying on the ground in the dark, just slumped over, and I just came out of it, and that was like the most fantastic moment. Just now, when I started the video, I was like, I got, like something in me was like, I have to record and talk about this, and that's where I am right now. So I'm gonna end it with all that. You just, you know, if you tuned in and experienced this, I'm gonna post, of course, on YouTube, the whole thing uncut, unedited. I don't care anymore. People need to experience life for what it is. I peed, went to the bathroom. I didn't wash my hands, but it's okay. I'm by myself, right? Who cares? I'm by myself. Who cares? People are always afraid of goddamn germs. We didn't have all this shit before. We didn't have toilets, man. You don't need to wash your hands unless you put your hands in some nasty shit. Like, look, I wash everything thoroughly. You know, so I touch my penis. It's thoroughly washed every time, you know. So don't worry about, you know, people. So yes, so this whole experience has been me on that ground. I got up and had to talk about this, and I really had to use the bathroom, and I did that, and now I started talking to y'all. So here is I guess I'm gonna call this the golden teacher lesson. The golden teacher mushroom trip lesson. I OD'd on golden teacher. And this is the teaching lesson that I'm sharing with you that I got from me, that you can then, if you take golden teacher, whatever substance is, just like I said, reiterate, it can teach you, but you gotta allow it. It's ready to teach you. Yeah, I'm exhausted. So I'm ready to go to bed. But man, that was tripped out though, man. That was all tripped out. But anyway, I'm feeling really happy though. I got that lesson. Like I said, I was crying, convulsing, all this stuff. It's like, you know, like, you know, it's really just like this love that I needed, I got today. What, you know, I was getting love, you know, earlier as well, but you know, we're all beings that we need connection and love, and actually, there's plants that would do that for you. So we need to open our mind. Everything is alive. Everything is alive. It has life. It has spirits. Ants. I learned so much. I'm not gonna kill any more ants. I'm not gonna kill any more anything else. I'm just gonna guide them out and try to help them in different ways. Cause I understand that nothing, my enemy, nothing trying to kill me. It's only my perception of it that's bad. That they kill it, that creates the animosity. If that makes sense. Now, there's caveats to that, but you know, I'm not gonna talk about that right now. But yeah, this is the video for. This is it. My trip. It was an amazing experience. I recommend the golden teacher mushrooms because I just learned from the golden teacher, Buddha stuff right now. So, man, feeling that love, feeling the energy. I'm restored. I thought I did something bad, but it was actually really good. I OD'd on mushrooms, and literally, I had to learn how to do what we're doing right now. Like I had to teach myself how to interact with the world, being on this level of a state of being, I guess people call it inebriated, but I'm not inebriated. I'm here, but I'm not here. That makes sense, right? So it's like it's learning how to be omniscient or so omnipresent. I mean, or omniscient and omnipresent as we ascend into God states. So and I had to learn how to walk around and do stuff while my mind is in other dimensions. Like that's what it is like being in VR. So all virtual look okay. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna go on for about 15 more minutes. Matter of fact, I got 15 minutes. Let me talk about this. Let me just talk about this real quick. This is gonna be just the whole message on YouTube here or wherever I do this. That how to operate. Yeah, I just forgot what I was talking about. How to operate 5D, right? You're operating in a new state of consciousness, and I had to teach myself how to operate, right? And I did, and in new states of consciousness. So coming out of one state of consciousness to a new state of consciousness, and all being omniscient, omnipresent, all that is learning how to become, get to your God state, get into a state of being where you're ascended while you're in a present reality. It's like it's learning how to be multifaceted. So I guess I don't need to talk about that. What I was going to talk about. I just need to end it, and I'm going to do that. I think that's what it just taught me. So don't need to talk about that. Just cut that off. Actually, there's more to come. Just trust me. Just stay with me. There's a lot of things. So just continue taking. Continue following me and learning about these things. We have Google, and just go learn about everything, and then you'll be good. So I'm gonna end it right there, actually. So y'all be good, man. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this time I'm in. I keep on trying to end it, but I love y'all. So I keep talking to you, but I'm not. So I love myself too. So here y'all. Yeah. Peace out.